Vlad Tepes, commonly known as Vlad the Impaler, was born into a world of political turmoil and warfare in 1431 in the misty region of Transylvania. He was the second son of Vlad II Dracul, a member of the chivalric Order of the Dragon, which was sworn to protect Christianity from the Ottoman Turks. This association with the order gave rise to the name Dracul, meaning dragon or devil in Romanian, and eventually Dracula for Vlad II, meaning son of the dragon. This name would go on to inspire one of history's most enduring legends, Count Dracula. Vlad's early life was marked by hardship and betrayal. At the age of 11, he and his younger brother Radu were sent as hostages to the Ottoman court by their father to ensure his loyalty to Sultan Murad II. During these formative years, Vlad witnessed both the military might and cultural sophistication of the Ottoman Empire, while harboring a growing resentment for his captors. Unlike Radu, who embraced Ottoman life and became close to the Sultan, Vlad grew into a deeply suspicious and vengeful individual. His time as a hostage left an indelible mark on him, shaping his ruthless approach to leadership when he later reclaimed his father's throne. In 1448, after the assassination of his father and elder brother by Wallachin Boyars, Vlad saw his chance to seize the throne of Wallachia, a small but strategically significant principality sandwiched between the Kingdom of Hungary and the Ottoman Empire. His first reign was short-lived, but in 1456, with the backing of the Hungarian King John Hunyadi, Vlad returned to power, this time determined to secure his rule through brutal and decisive action. Vlad quickly became infamous for his preferred method of punishment, impalement. Victims were hoisted onto sharpened wooden stakes, often inserted through the lower abdomen and emerging through the mouth or shoulders, left to die in excruciating pain. This horrifying form of execution was not merely for personal revenge, it was a calculated tactic to instill fear and maintain order in a land constantly threatened by invasion and internal rebellion. Vlad used impalement to terrorize not only his enemies but also his own people, making sure that even the thought of rebellion was crushed under the weight of his reputation. One of the most notorious instances of Vlad's cruelty occurred in 1462 during his long-standing conflict with the Ottoman Empire. After successfully repelling an Ottoman invasion, Vlad impaled over 20,000 Ottoman soldiers outside the city of Targovist. When Sultan Mehmed II arrived with his army and saw the forest of the impaled, he was so horrified that he turned back, delaying his plans for further conquest. This act of psychological warfare solidified Vlad's position as a fierce and unpredictable opponent. Despite his brutality, Vlad was also seen by many in Wallachia as a protector and hero. His iron-fisted rule brought a degree of stability to a land rife with corruption and violence. Under his reign, crime virtually disappeared, as the threat of impalement was enough to deter even the most hardened criminals. Merchants from neighboring lands would leave their goods unattended in Wallachia, knowing that no one dared steal under Vlad's watch. This fearsome reputation served to maintain law and order, albeit through terror. Vlad's reign was a constant balancing act between the competing powers of Hungary and the Ottoman Empire. His relationship with Hungary was often complex. Initially, he allied himself with King Matthias Corvinus, but his refusal to submit to Ottoman suzerainty led to increasing tensions. In 1462, following a series of Ottoman invasions, Vlad was captured and imprisoned by the Hungarian king, who sought to maintain peace with the Ottomans by removing Vlad from power. During his 12 years in captivity, Vlad's legend grew in Europe. German and Russian pamphlets depicted him as a bloodthirsty tyrant, eager to impale thousands. These stories, while exaggerated, spread throughout Europe and helped to shape his image as one of history's most feared rulers. Vlad was eventually released from captivity in 1475, and with the help of Hungarian and Moldavian forces, he briefly returned to the Wallachian throne. However, his final reign was short-lived, and in December 1476, Vlad met his end in battle. The exact details of his death remain unclear, but several theories exist. Some claim that Vlad was killed by Ottoman soldiers during combat, while others suggest he was betrayed and assassinated by Wallachian boyars, the nobles who had long resented his brutal rule. His enemies finally seized an opportunity to rid themselves of the ruler who had ruled through fear for so many years. One of the most widely accepted accounts is that Vlad was decapitated after his death, and his head was sent to Sultan Mehmed II in Constantinople as a grisly trophy. The Sultan reportedly had Vlad's head displayed on a stake to show that the fierce and terrifying ruler of Wallachia was no more. However, the whereabouts of Vlad's body remain a mystery to this day. Some believe he was buried at the Snagov Monastery in Romania, but when excavations were conducted, no remains were found, adding yet another layer of mystery to the already enigmatic legacy of Vlad Tepes. Despite his death, Vlad's legend endured, both in Romania, where he was celebrated as a national hero, and in the West, where his name became synonymous with cruelty and bloodlust. One of the most fascinating aspects of Vlad's legacy is how it has been interpreted differently across cultures. In Romania, Vlad is remembered as a defender of the homeland, a leader who stood firm against the encroaching Ottoman Empire and maintained Wallachia's independence through sheer force of will. Romanian folklore is filled with stories of Vlad's just but harsh rule, portraying him as a figure of national pride. This stands in stark contrast to the Western portrayal of Vlad as a monstrous ruler, a figure so terrifying that he inspired one of the greatest fictional villains in literary history. Bram Stoker's Dracula, published in 1897, drew heavily from the legends surrounding Vlad the Impaler, though the novel never explicitly connects the fictional Count Dracula with the historical Vlad. However, the associations are clear. The vampiric imagery of bloodlust, immortality, and impalement all find their roots in the stories of Vlad's reign. The name Dracula itself, meaning son of the dragon and the dark, Gothic landscapes of Eastern Europe, provided the perfect foundation for Stoker's novel. Over time, the legend of Vlad the Impaler and the fictional Dracula have become inextricably linked, each feeding into the other to create a powerful and enduring myth. Yet, beyond the myth lies the reality of a ruler who was shaped by the brutal politics of his time. Wallachia, positioned between the powerful Ottoman Empire and the Kingdom of Hungary, was a land of constant conflict, and Vlad's reign was a reflection of the harsh realities of medieval Eastern Europe. His use of fear, violence, and terror was not mindless cruelty, it was a survival strategy in a world where power was fragile and life was cheap. Vlad's actions, while horrifying, were not uncommon in an era where rulers had to be ruthless to maintain control. Vlad's psychological complexity is another layer worth exploring. The trauma of his early years as a hostage, the betrayal of his own people, and the constant warfare undoubtedly shaped him into a deeply paranoid and vengeful leader. He trusted few, and his reign was characterized by swift and brutal retribution against any who dared oppose him. This psychological portrait adds a human element to Vlad's story, making him more than just a caricature of cruelty. Even today, Vlad's legacy continues to fascinate and inspire. In Romania, statues and monuments stand in his honor, and his image as a national hero persists. At the same time, the Dracula legend has kept his name alive in popular culture, with countless books, films, and adaptations drawing from his story. The real Vlad Tepes, however, remains an enigma, a man who lived by the sword and ruled through fear, but who also defended his homeland and left an indelible mark on history.